Thanks very much for joining us for Across Africa, our weekly look at stories from across the continent. This week, Nigeria started the month celebrating 6 decades of self-rule. We take a look back at the watershed moments that led up to the African giant's independence from Britain. Also, Cameroon's sand divers risked their lives to plunge into the Sanago River in search of sand for the building industry. It's back-breaking and dangerous work that claims around half a dozen lives every year. And we visit one of the open secrets of Algerians hoping to get away from it all. Beni Haoua is a popular camping spot not far from the capital. The hidden gem is a precious resource for nature lovers yearning for space in the time of COVID. But first, the 1st of October 1960 was the day that Nigeria stepped away from British colonial rule and claimed its independence. Today, it's Africa's most populous nation and is one of the continent's economic powerhouses. We take a look back at some of the defining moments that framed this chapter of the nation's history.
Africa's most populous nation became independent from Britain on the 1st of October 1960. The colonizers had arrived in Nigeria in the 1850s. The spread of Western education by Christian missionaries was strongly resisted, especially by Muslim leaders in the north. Under colonialism, the south was more developed. This division would have long-lasting consequences even after independence. The first nationalist movements appeared in the 1920s. Over the next 4 decades, resistance to colonial rule grew more and more important. Quite soon after independence, there were some serious ethnic conflicts. Tension had been building up for years between the northern Hausa people and the Igbos from the east. In September 1966, more than 1,000 people were killed in the north, mostly Igbos. Their leader was called Emeka Ojukwu.
If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom.
In May 1967, Ojukwu declared the independence of the Republic of Biafra in the east. The civil war began in July. Ojukwu and his troops faced the army and Nigerian leader Yakubu Gowon.
The sacrifices will be heavy, but the cause is worthy and just. Long live the Federation of Nigeria.
The war lasted until 1970. Nearly 2 million people died, most of them because of starvation and illness. The conflict brought some of the first images of African children starving to death to Western television viewers. It is after having witnessed this war that some humanitarian workers decided to found the NGO Doctors Without Borders. 50 years later, the Biafra War is still by far the deadliest conflict to have taken place in Nigeria.
In Cameroon, many young men living around the Sanago River risk their lives mining sand. Relying on canoes and buckets, divers, many of whom can't swim properly, plunge hundreds of times into the water per shift. It's back-breaking and dangerous work, but a lack of job options means that few feel that they have other ways of making a living. Our team reports.
An aerial view of Cameroon's longest river. Divers sail boats along the Sanago River in search of sand. Among them is Prosper. A miner dives repeatedly to extract sand from beneath the turbulent waters. He can descend as deeply as 3 meters into the fast-flowing river.
When we dive, we have to fill the bucket.
400 buckets fill a boat. The job can be deadly and miners often drown. In a year, at least 6 persons disappear in the brown waters.
I lost a colleague. I noticed he'd been down for longer than usual. I shouted, his workmates came, we got the body out. It took me a year before I could go near water again.
After the accident, Prosper couldn't find other work and eventually had no choice but to return to the dangers of the river. This morning he's gone to the port to sell his weekly truckload of sand. The resource is used for building and 20 tons goes for 60,000 francs CFA, barely 100 euros. The meager amount is shared amongst his entire team.
The money we get doesn't match the expenses. We have machines, truck fillers, and divers. In the end, you're left with just 9,000 francs.
After hours of tedious work, Prosper heads home with about 9,000 francs CFA, less than 15 euros. His family are always relieved to see him return.
I'm really not happy when he goes there, because it's a difficult job. I would love to see him do something else, like farming work.
But he doesn't have the capital to retrain in agriculture. For now, he plans on sticking with his current job, despite a promise he made to his late older brother, a sand miner who lost his life in the river.
I cannot continue working as a sand miner forever. You know, when I think about it, I don't even feel like going to work tomorrow.
Many unemployed young men risk their lives for mining sand from bed of the Sanago River. Cameroon's jobless rate is over 30%, a situation that's been exacerbated by the tens of thousands who have lost their jobs because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Abortion laws in DR Congo can be difficult to wade through. Critics say that they're unclear and sometimes contradictory. Add that to a lack of infrastructure aimed at supporting reproductive health, and many women find themselves with a distressing and sometimes fatal lack of options when trying to deal with unwanted pregnancies. Our team in Kinshasa reports.
This young woman, who asked for her real name not to be used, became pregnant a year ago. Unable to keep the child, she decided to end her pregnancy.
If I told my parents at home I was pregnant, it would have gotten me into trouble. That's why I wanted to do it discreetly. I went to see a neighbor who gave me some medicine. But then I had complications. When I wanted to pee, my urine smelled very bad.
Marie suffered a major infection and went to the hospital where she received immediate treatment. She's now healthy but not yet fully recovered from the trauma. Like her, an estimated 400 women have unsafe abortions every day in Kinshasa. This organisation, Afia Mama, has been trying to help.
Why did you come to see us?
I have a problem. I'm pregnant and I need to end the pregnancy.
Afia Mama provides psychological, medical and, most important, legal support. The DRC has signed and ratified the Maputo Protocol, which allows women to terminate a pregnancy in the case of rape or if it threatens their health. But the Congolese Penal Code continues to prohibit abortions.
The fact that the law is inconsistent means that the state is not investing in the required infrastructure. There are no trained doctors, there is no information. So it really is an obstacle course for women who want to get an abortion.
To facilitate access to reproductive rights, several MPs are now calling for an overhaul of Congolese legislation.
Our goal is to raise awareness because there are many people who don't understand the point in legalizing abortion. If we don't change the law, we'll pay the price, whether it is through additional deaths or through increased costs from looking after these unwanted children.
Revisions to the Congolese Penal Code are expected to be debated during this ongoing parliamentary session.
Rent control in Cairo sees thousands of people paying only a few euros a year for large apartments. But the arrangement comes with a sting in the tail. As landlords struggle to profit from their properties, many fail to maintain their buildings and allow them to fall into dangerous states of disrepair. Our correspondents report.
A month ago, this building in central Cairo collapsed, injuring many. This is a common phenomenon in the Egyptian capital because renovations do not take place. This is in large part due to strict rent controls, according to this historian.
From time to time, these buildings collapse from a lack of upkeep. You can find apartments for £6, so the landlords are not interested in renovating.
£6 converted to euros is just 20 cents. The city's rent controls date back to 1945. Saber earns €3 per month from rent on this entire building. With this income, he has little to spend on renovations.
This is the first thing you see in the building.
Leaks, cracks and a poorly lit staircase. A grotesque state of affairs, according to Saber.
Today I collect rents of £2.5 to £5, whereas the market value is £2,000 to £2,500. Both myself and the other landlords find that unfair and dangerous. We haven't been able to invest in 70 years.
Passing by one of his tenants, a pensioner, Saber got angry.
How much should it be today? We were supposed to reach the market price. That seemed fair to both of us.
I'm retired. After 37 years of work, I only receive £700.
With Parliament currently debating whether to scrap these rent controls, tens of thousands of Egyptians could end up on the streets.
Algeria's Beni Haoua district, which is about 150 kilometres west of the capital, Algiers, is a popular camping spot. It's known for its beautiful, unspoiled beaches and abundant open space, which is all the more precious for nature enthusiasts looking to get away from the crowds during the pandemic. Our correspondents report.
Summer vacations are almost over, and public beaches are still very crowded. Mahdi and his friends have chosen to come to this untouched beach in the region of Beni Haoua.
Vis-à-vis le corona, on a choisi cette plage-là parce qu'une plage vide, parce qu'une plage inaccessible pour la distanciation sociale, pour ne pas contaminer les gens, pour ne pas être contaminé. Tout ça, ça fait partie d'un choix qui a été fait pour aller voir la plage de Beni Haoua et une découverte d'une nouvelle plage.
This young man says that this area is a perfect alternative.
Bon, نحبوا نجيو لهنا لهاد لا بلاج سوفاج باش نحب نبراتيكي سبور تاعي اللي نحبو. نحب ندير البادل هنا ما كانش بزاف غاشي ماشي كيما في لي بلاج في الجي معمرين بلي جات سكي الدراري صغار يلعبوا تقدر تقيسهم تقدر تبليسيهم دونك هاد لا بلاج كيما هادي فارغه تقدر دير واش تحب.
Mohammed is a sailor from Beni Haoua district. During the summer holidays he transports campers in his fishing boat to the lesser known destination.
أنا بحري نخدم لهنا الصيف والشتاء نخدموا لهنا في الصيف يجونا الناس نجيبوهم لهنا نجيبوهم كرسات لهنا يفوتوا لي جورني تاعهم كان لي كومبي لي بلاج هذو ما نجموش يجوا لهم ابي ولا بطونوبيل لازم غير بالفلوكه.
Algeria has more than 1,400 kilometers of coastline with breathtaking unspoiled beaches. The North African nation has a great potential and is increasingly looking to compete with neighbouring countries in tourism.
Well, that's it for Across Africa for now. Thanks for joining us, and do so again if you can. Take care.